Bankai is the absolute pinnacle of power in Bleach. Just about every heavy hitter is capable of the ultimate release. This level of power is never given and always earned, making Shinigami capable of reaching this elusive power tier decades of grinding to obtain. Even then, the perfection of a Shinigami's technique can forever elude them. Evolution and refinement of the second release state can drastically reshape the physical manifestation of a Shinigami's power. This brings us to the conclusion that everyone gets Bankai wrong. It is seldom that we see the true potential of a Zanpakuto. The blame always lies entirely with the wielder. Bankai isn't a traditional transformation in the sense that you train and become physically stronger and evolve. The inner world primarily carries all of the heavy lifting, the place where you're faced with knowing yourself. Once proficient in your relationship with the inner world, the Zanpakuto spirit physically manifests. The process is long and tedious, dangerous even. Urahara almost died in his 3 days trying to Bankai hypertrain, a process not meant to be rushed or achieved through shortcuts, mostly because of the level of personal development required to break through the physical manifestation. Ichigo had to survive various trials to release Zangetsu, a breakthrough at every turn of his training. Newly developed mental acuity and higher levels of resilience are required over each hurdle. So if this is the cost of just getting to the starting line, what is the price of treating the beginning like the end of a journey? To put it into its simplest form, the cost is invisibility. The danger isn't failing to reach Bankai, it's reaching it and thinking you've arrived, never realizing the heights you can reach for. One clear example is Byakuya. He never truly knew what he had until he lost it all. When Senbon Sakura was stolen from him by Asnot, he was left vulnerable. His arc was to be faced head on with what his true power was, understanding the might he possessed by being put under fire. The height of the destructive force of his Bankai was shown to him by the enemy before he fully understood it for himself. Surely Royal Realm training gave him a crazy boost in power, but the power being taken away gave him a greater appreciation of it. He had to go through an array of emotions: doubt, vulnerability, and isolation. He lost everything to see clearly. A fall from grace pushed him to a place of reflection and soul searching. Without any fall from grace, characters can follow the arc of Seijin Komamura. His Bankai is nothing but a mere extension of himself, unchanged and stagnant, physically powerful but without real stopping power when needed. Komamura first appears to us covered and embarrassed by his true self, powerful enough to reach captain tier but too weak to own who he is, fearful of what others would think, not reassured of who he uniquely was. A microcosm of the power dynamic he and his Bankai shared. He never had to face who he was because he never dared to fully face himself. The moment he forced a change, he became lost. The ultimate shortcut was taken by humanization in the Thousand Year Blood War. He moved somewhere new and deeper only to have it all go to waste. The work was skipped and the power of delayed gratification was ignored. His sense of self was thrown away, never to be explored. His resolve to throw his identity away was the ultimate nerve tied intrinsically to what allows a Bankai to grow truly strong. Humanization wasn't a Bankai power-up, it was a tragic surrender to the adversity facing him. Kenpachi's relationship with his Bankai is heavy food for thought. His internal conflict created one of the most abnormal results in Bleach. One of the strongest fighters in Soul Society history was a captain without a Bankai entirely. From the time he was a child, he intentionally limited his natural capacity for battle. Being unable to come to terms with his affinity for unrivaled violence took a toll. No Bankai was a result of being wary of a battle being short-lived. He went against his true nature and inevitably was left with a handicap. An affliction of the heart made his biggest strength into his most prominent mental crutch. A power beyond his comprehension awaited him on the other side of his mental nerf. As soon as he released himself from his affliction, he came to know his Zanpakuto's name and achieved Bankai. The moment he accepted what he was, his Zanpakuto answered. Decades of silence broke by a single act of self-recognition. A reframe of the outlook on oneself directly correlates to an exponential increase in capability. Hiding from the man in the mirror makes the problem snowball into an avalanche of insufficiencies. Self-suppression delayed an entire destiny. The Zanpakuto was never the issue for the progression of strength. Every case has the same unique circumstances. The power achieved is always directly tied to a deep and individualized understanding. Knowing oneself and self-actualization creates newfound upper limits. Accepting the traits that make up who a Shinigami is develops true strength. Bankai isn't at all about athletic profile or battle art proficiency. The true scaling of Bleach's power system is deeply interconnected with the understanding of the concept "the blade is me." The more you explore and find out about yourself, the more you grow. Kubo wrote the power system as a mirror. If you've received a new insight from this video, you know what to do to learn more.